the Gambia and around the world, this is Atlantic TV News. Our top stories this hour. Amnesty calls for end to laws used to stifle freedom of expression in the Gambia. Details of Gambia's national ID card contract plan emerge as Interior Minister faces deputies. The West African Examination Council finally releases the much-delayed Gabesi results. Away from home, Nigeria launches cash grant program to support 1 million small-scale businesses. And Burundi used discarded oxen bones to make chicken feeds. These and much more coming ahead with me, Alagie Mbye. Many thanks for joining us. Amnesty International has expressed concern about the continuous use of vague criminal legal provisions to stifle freedom of expression in the Gambia, and called on the Gambia government to drop all charges against journalist Musa Sharif and Mamadou Justice Dabo. The two were arrested for reporting that the president plans to quit as President Barrow tells UN conference Gambia is a bastion of press freedom. Mamadou Dabo wrote an article published recently in the Voice newspaper claiming that President Adama Barrow was working on an exit plan ahead of the 2026 election. The article's headline claimed that Barrow had chosen businessman Mohamed Jah as his successor. Lawyers for the president swiftly threatened legal action against the newspaper, calling the claims defamatory and completely outrageous and untrue. Police arrested Dabo and the newspaper editor Musa Sharif. The two have since been charged with false publication and broadcasting. The charges stemmed from an article which allegedly contains misleading information intended to cause public alarm. The police said, according to Amnesty, the Gambia Police Force assures the public that freedom of the press is respected but emphasized the importance of responsible journalism in maintaining public order. This according to the Standard newspaper. The Minister of the Interior of the Gambia, Abdoulaye Sanyang, says a plan is afoot for a new national ID card production. The minister gave the information recently during an exchange with legislators at the National Assembly. He was quizzed by parliamentarians on various issues including the national ID card problem and concerns regarding an airport tax which travelers entering the country are subjected to. National ID cards have not been issued in the Gambia for many months now, following the end of a government contract with Semlex. Sanyang told lawmakers that contrary to claims that the contract with the Belgian company was terminated, the deal only came to its specified end. He explained that the company had requested an extension of the contract, but the request was turned down by the government over unfavorable conditions. In order to provide a solution to the problem and ease the suffering of the people for lack of proof of ID documents, the minister said, "We are working on other contracts to embed the local content on the issuance of ID cards." He said the idea is to allow the government greater possibilities of getting a new contract that will spare them of issues that came up between them and Semlex. The UN Economic Commission for Africa is helping the Gambia government to implement a national digital ID system, DIDS, the strategy of which was detailed in a report last year. The government this year entered into an agreement with big data analytics company Preside to support the digitalization transformation efforts through the issuance of digital ID cards. Now, the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, has called on the Gambia government to develop a national policy on older persons to protect them from all forms of discrimination. In a statement marking International Day of Older Persons with the theme, "The Importance of Strengthening Care and Support Systems for Older Persons," the NHRC also called on the government to domesticate the protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights on the rights of older persons in Africa. We also urge the government to devise strategies to actively engage older persons in national development initiatives and discourses, and ensure financial security and access to essential services for older persons, including expanding pension and health care. It added, The Commission said it remains committed to working with the government, civil society organizations, local government authorities, the private sector, and international partners to promote the rights of older persons, devise sustainable strategy for their meaningful participation in national, regional, and community initiatives and discourses, and build a Gambia where every older person feels valued and lives in dignity and respect. Now to some education matters. Because after a long delay, the Gambia Basic Education Certificate Examination results, GABESE, has been released by the West African Examination Council, WAEC. An official at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education confirmed to the Standard newspaper. The source said the results arrived at the ministry Tuesday and may have already been released to the schools too. However, according to the official, MOPSI will only make a formal announcement of the results during a press conference at the ministry's conference hall, where a detailed explanations of the results will be made. News of the release of the results came after a long period of delay, prompting speculations and complaints by parents waiting to enroll their children to senior secondary school. A fire outbreak has destroyed 9 shops at the Birkama market in the West Coast region. The inferno burnt down the shops to ashes, leaving the affected vendors with nothing. The fire is believed to have started from one of the shops, quickly engulfing the entire building. Despite a swift response from people who tried to rescue items from the raging fire, the entire materials were lost to the blaze. Some of the affected vendors said they lost everything to the inferno, including some cash. Eyewitnesses described the scene as devastating, as they couldn't rescue anything from the shops. Despite the huge loss, the affected vendors thanked the people for putting out the fire. Rains submerged rice fields in Flodu. There are growing concern among farmers in most parts of Flodu, where heavy rains have flooded rice fields, submerging crops and in some cases preventing harvesting. Flodu is among only a few places in the Gambia where the country's staple food, rice, is cultivated in large numbers. But according to sources from the farming communities, rice field areas like Kerewan Sambashira, Sinchu Delegas, Fulabantang, Faraba, and Tabanani, among other places, are flooded with water from the heavy downpour. In most of these places, our source said farmers have just transplanted their rice and run the risk of destruction from the marauding water. One of the affected fields is Maru Farm, a private cultivation site being developed for experiencing rice varieties for large-scale production in Pachar village. There, the rice is ripe and already for harvesting, but all their efforts at draining the water failed as more water rushes to replace the quantities pumped out. The National Assembly member for the area, Jibimbalo, said he was alerted to the situation, which he called an emergency. What I saw is pathetic because farmers are in huge distress with their rice fields underwater. We are urgently calling on the intervention of government to help avert the destruction of the crops by helping the construction of a dike or canal to divert the water elsewhere, or to reservoirs where it can be reused for agricultural purposes. Imagine the case of Maru farms where the crop is already for harvest, but it cannot be done unless the water is pumped out, he said. This according to the Standard newspaper. Now, Stanislas Gomez, the victim of the checkpoint shooting by the State Guard Battalion, has accused the Gambia Armed Forces of making false allegations against him. He raised these concerns in a letter responding to an invitation to appear before a military inquiry set up to investigate the incident. The shooting incident occurred in Bijilo along the Battle Hardin Highway near Tourist Restaurant close to Kersirin Junction. The army said it wants to get to the bottom of the incident that led to the shooting of Gomez in a car that it said failed to stop at the checkpoint. However, in his response to the invitation, the victim accused the army of making false allegations against him in their press statement on the matter. The Gambia Army spokesman on a local TV news made and repeated false and malicious allegations against us, seemingly to tarnish our image and cover up the unprofessional and life-threatening action of your personnel, which resulted in Stanislas Gomez being shot, the witness said in his letter of response. Gomez and other witnesses said they would only appear before the military panel with their lawyers and National Human Rights Commissions. They also queried the inclusion of a man in the list of witnesses invited to appear, saying they do not know him and he is not involved in the incident, according to the Standard newspaper. Former head of Internal Audit Department at the Kanifing Municipal Council, Basiru Mbye, has told the Local Government Commission of Inquiry that the Internal Audit Department is not given its due. Mbye, who began working in the council in 2007, provided various documents including an appointment letter, confirmation letter, promotion letter, and salary upgrade letter. However, he rubbished claims that he was merely overseeing the position, saying he was the most senior person in the audit department after the departure of the former director, Ibrahim Fofana. Mbye testified that there was no handing over done to him and there were no incentives given to him for the position. He maintained that the department had a vehicle during Fofana's tenure, but it was taken away when he left, which made things difficult for them. The department, he added, had 15 markets to investigate and faced difficulties in producing reports, adding that he paid fares for staff to go to fields and markets to ensure the reports were available. He therefore affirmed that the environment was not favorable for them as auditors. He stated that the Internal Audit Department was far from the main council office as it was located at Kanifing along the hospital road. He stated that even getting payment vouchers was a problem as they had to travel from there. We have to look for lift or other means rather, like bicycles or to sit behind riders, referring to motorbikes in this case, to make sure we get to the office. He explained they were promised a space in the new KMC building, but during the allocation, they were told to stay at the multipurpose center near the Kanifing Hospital. He said he forcefully occupied an office and refused to vacate despite the demands that he should. He claimed that the internal audit is not respected and he was labeled as a problem maker. He also provided the commission with many documents pertaining to a host of issues. Now to some community development issues, because the Costa Road market in the West Coast region is one of the country's busiest markets, but the frail image of the market, characterized by poor infrastructure and lack of sanitary facilities, is a cause of concern for vendors. In an interview with Atlantic TV's Samba Job, one of the vendors, Halimatu Sise, lamented the lack of toilets and potable water at the market. This, she added, is the biggest challenge they are grappling with. Amid all the difficulties, their only alternatives when they want to use the toilet is to visit a nearby petrol station where they pay $10 or other compounds in the neighborhood. Sise is appealing for government, the municipal council, and other philanthropists to come to their aid. Here is an excerpt.
Well, the difficulties more is about the toilet facilities. We don't have any toilet in the market, and also the road. There is a lot of, let me say, the place is not very maintenance. As you can see where we are selling. Yes.
But every day it seems like you guys are paying duty.
Yes, we pay for duty $10 every day.
Are you guys complaining about the toilet facility?
Well, like for us, we are foreigners and we don't know anywhere to go and complain about it. But all I can say now that I have the opportunity that you guys have met us, I will only say that if there is a way they can help us for toilet facility, it will be good. And also like the water, there is no tap around there, unless we go down at this place to fetch water.
And you guys are doing that every day?
Yes, we pay. We even pay for the water every day, $10. Even though the distance is still far.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
This is Atlantic TV News. We'll be back with news from outside the Gambia right after this short break. Stay with us.
Atlantic Media Company. Follow us on Facebook at Atlantic TV The Gambia, on YouTube at Atlantic TV Gambia, on TikTok Atlantic.tv.gambia. Follow our music platform on Facebook at Atlantic TV Music Platform Entertainment.
Welcome back. In the internationals, Nigeria launches cash grant program to support small-scale businesses. The program targets businesses with annual revenue below $3,000, offering each around $30. According to Nigeria's Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, nearly 10% of the country's 40 million micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises have closed since May last year due to various challenges. Details in this CGTN report.
Sarah Selfa runs a fast food restaurant in Jos in central Nigeria. A challenge, she says, because of the soaring prices of many food items. She says the cash grant, though modest, is appreciated, and she hopes to make the best of it.
If you are able to manage it well, you will yield more than expectation. You must start from somewhere before the money will now grow.
According to Nigeria's Bureau of Statistics, the country's annual inflation rate rose to 32.2% in August, compared to 25.8% for the same period last year. Some government policies, such as the removal of subsidies on petrol, has led to a surge in transportation costs and prices of items in the market. The situation has taken a toll on businesses, with many people not able to afford several goods and services. The Association of Small and Medium Enterprises in Nigeria, NASME, says about 10% of the 40 million micro, small and medium enterprises in the country have shut down since May last year. The government says it's hopeful about the plan, believing the $30 million cash support to 1 million small businesses will give them a timely boost and prevent more from falling. Economic analysts have commended the move, but called for transparency in the disbursement of the funds.
How does the government generate this database of those people that actually need this for? I think that should be visited too, so that the cash gets to those people that actually will use this money.
The government says it is ensuring transparency in the process and that the country's Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDAN, is liaising with state governments to identify eligible beneficiaries through a transparent technology-based system. SMEDAN says so far the grant has been disbursed in 14 out of the 36 states in the country, with a promise to ensure businesses in each state of the Federation benefit from the initiative. The government says it has also commenced repairs on its dysfunctional refineries, with 3 of them projected to resume local refining of petroleum products between this year and next. That's projected to reduce reliance on imports, thereby enabling more businesses like that of Sarah Selfa to grow. Tessim Akende, CGTN Jos.
Unemployed young people in Bujumbura are earning a living from oxen bones collected from rubbish. They sell the bones to a company that grinds and roasts the bones before mixing them with other ingredients to make in-demand chicken feed. Some experts say the feed helps egg-laying hens to grow faster. Details in this CGTN report again.
Every day in Burundi's capital, Bujumbura, young people wade through rubbish along the banks of River Ntahangwa, collecting oxen bones to sell and earn a living. Elvis Manirakiza is one of them. Once he collects the bones, including those from slaughterhouses and restaurants, he takes them to a safe place and burns them to a certain degree before selling the residue.
You can buy these bones at 10 cents per kg, that's in US dollars, and sell them for between 20 and 25 cents. So you can understand that there is an interest in this business. We make a profit of at least 6 cents. If we can then sell 1 ton, that's good money. But since collecting the bones is difficult, we can only deliver once a week, and that's a maximum of at least 500 kilograms.
This kind of work has enabled him to fend for his family, and it has earned him enough money to even purchase a piece of land. He has since started construction work. Elvis sells his bones to a mill in the industrial district of the capital. The crushing mill, which grinds the roasted bones and mixes them with other ingredients, has expanded due to high demand.
At the mill, we only take grilled bones that contain no dirt, that have been burnt in a safe place and grilled very well until the fire extinguishes itself. That's why you see them all black and dry. In a week, we need at least 500 kg of bones to mix with other ingredients. I choose this job because of the profit. Through it, I have bought a plot of land and a car.
The ground roasted bones are sold as chicken feed. Many farmers mix bone meal with cereals to make a feed mix for laying hens. Experts say the use of bone meal accelerates the growth of chicken, and for efficient production, they encourage the crushing mills to modernize their equipment.
We now also include other additives such as crushed bones, sunflower and methionine to help the hens grow. I would advise those who prepare chicken to do this. I encourage millers to seek out knowledge to make the sector more productive and developed, to buy modern machinery to do their job. For example, they can buy a machine called a mixer for blending.
Burundi is a youthful country with more than 70% of its population under the age of 35. Many of the young Burundians are, however, unemployed, and for young people like Elvis, scavenging the dumps to survive, collecting oxen bones for sale, has provided them with an honest source of income, helping them turn trash into treasure. Alagie Mbye, CGTN.
You're watching Atlantic TV News with me, Alagie Mbye. A quick reminder of the headlines this hour. Amnesty has called for an end to laws used to stifle freedom of expression in the Gambia. Details of Gambia's national ID card contract plan has emerged as Interior Minister faced deputies. The West African Examination Council finally released the much-delayed Gabesi results. Away from home, Nigeria has launched cash grant program to support 1 million small-scale businesses. And Burundians use discarded oxen bones to make chicken feeds. That does it for this hour. Many thanks for watching and enjoy.